Hello, my name is Belen, and I will be doing Chapter 6 of Smartest Kids in the World and How They Got That Way by Amanda Ripley. So, Amanda Ripley's target audience are. Oh my god, I don't have this right. But Amanda Ripley's target audience is education reformers who strive for a more competitive nation on most likely education. And my target audience will actually be ATs fans because at least most of the ATs fans that I'm familiar with, they're also like more of coming of age. You're more of like high school students who are about to like graduate or on the way of graduating. So yeah, both of them have good connections because most of these people that I'm friends with, at least A-tinees, is that they're more competitive and they want a more competitive resume or a more competitive something. So let's begin. Okay, so like Mingi or the from ATs, of course, the main character or like the main like person in this chapter is Eric, but we're gonna address him as Mingi for like A-tiny purposes, and lost his fame after a while in Korea, but like Loki he couldn't like rizz up anyone anymore, and then once he stumbled upon this girl, like he stumbled on this girl on his way home after Saturday classes, because Loki kind of spoke to him in perfect English, which was like whoa, like whoa. She explains how when she came back from like the United States because she did Hagwons like when she came back, she also kind of slept in class too, and then she kind of experienced the peer effect. So like if she saw her peers slowing it down and make it bouncy, she will too. And also, oh my god, sorry. Also, imagine catching a 10-minute break from like studying and your mom you're just playing a game, and then it's just 10 minutes because it doesn't matter. Like it's just 10 minutes, and then your mom sees you like catches you in the act and then like forces you to listen Woo Young's Egg for like 10 minutes straight. That would not be good. So like that's how like strict Mingi's host mom was about studying, more specifically towards like her own children rather than Mingi. And then you know how like streaming boosts daesang possibilities. That's pretty much how the education system fostered parent involvement. And those who were like involved with like children's extracurriculars actually did worse on the PISA test. And when parents pretty much address issues with like their children, like real world issues or like more critical, that actually did much better in reading and sort of like I guess you could like boil it down to sort of how like talking mistreatments of ATs and then you end up finding like more reasons within that reasons of how ATs is being mistreated. You could kind of like make that connection with like what I previously said. And also parents who educated and read books to their kids like before they were even able to like read actually helped them perform better on the PISA test. If it makes things easier, honestly, imagine taking an AT's lore quiz. Like it's not just like what happens. Like you have to make your own analogy or like lore or something. And also parents in like Korea kind of were like their managers or like coaches, like most likely managers. They helped them train, memorize, and truly care about their kids or like in this case groups. Like like the Devil and team from like Stray Kids. I don't know why I'm mentioning Stray Kids, but like okay, now it's time to kind of like fix on. And then you know how some people read AT's fan fictions for fun? Well, surprise, they actually perform better on PISA exams than those who didn't. So guys, start reading your fan fictions, not the Wattpad ones, like actual good ones. I can give you like AO3. Okay, so now maybe it's time to like stop cheering our teams and actually coach our team through voting, streaming, and making fan events. Because like on a more real world implication, it's time to really engage with our children in academics, like not just like extracurriculars, but more like actually indulging in like what makes this kid like more academically like better. And also I guess you could kind of say how like it's more authoritative parents that tend to have more resilience and smarter children. Like they tend to have smarter children, kind of like Chinese and Korean parents where they're always like making sure that they're studying and everything. I guess you could be more like that. And then also tests are like pretty serious in Korea as well. So like I really don't need to go like on emphasis as why, because it's Korea. We're pretty familiar with like the Korean education system at least. And but everything kind of felt like a ritual. Like there was like no honkings, no flights. Like there was like good luck wishes at the temples, and there was like even free rides, like free taxi rides for high school test takers for college. Like not even the SATs does that. Like for all my high school ATs girlies, y'all know the SAT, and everyone and every like A-tiny or like in the group, like necessarily everyone in like A-tiny had a role to play in like the success of like ATs, which is kind of like correlated back to how like everyone played an important role in like education system. Also the US was like I guess like of course my United States A-tinies, they also like were very like over here they're pretty suppressive and monitored. Like for example, when you're going to the restroom, you have to make a pass. They have to like track down your time. But like whereas like other countries in Finland, they could actually just make decisions for themselves. Like if they want to go to the restroom, they just say so, and then like okay, you can just go. Not even ATs can choose their own managers. Like it's just crazy. And then also like in the US, imagine sports like photo card collecting. It requires a lot of money, and like in comparison, an actual learning could be like the ATs learning, you know, because you'll need a lot more critical thinking. And over here in the United States, it's a lot better to be a good photo card collector than actually taking the time to learn about ATs lores, because students, like yeah, students spend too much time on sports. Like it does teach leadership, but also academics teach leadership as well. But like it's in more accurate settings. And why is that? Why, you may ask? It's because of self-discipline, of course. Like, you know, Jongho and his vocals, like, bro, they're so good. And then at the end of the PISA test, like, kids were, like, recommended to fill out the survey. And kids in Korea had a compliance rate of 98%. I guess maybe that's why some of them decided to become K-pop idols, because, like, the education system's a little, like, not, like, very coercive. And then that's pretty much it. Now this chapter really dives deep into like parent involvement and how this like also affects the child's success in school. But like to put it more simply, if the idols engage with more fans, they are more likely to win more music awards. But like the most important line of this chapter is American parents tended to act more like cheerleaders. Because this pretty much emphasizes the central idea of this chapter, which kind of means like which is really just comparing American and like home environments in America and how that plays into like education and its effects on the PISA test results compared to other high achieving students. And now I kind of ask you to ponder this. Does the United States prioritize or set aside the idea of self-discipline? And how does discipline really change the trajectory of how a high schooler more specifically performs in their academics and extracurriculars?